VN Rai, an unusual officer of the Indian Police Service, was the first man who registered first information report in Hashimpura massacre case. He also wrote a book, Shahar Mein Curfew, accounting his experiences of communal violences and controlling it. Since 1995, when he conducted a research on gap between Indian Muslims in police services, he has been vocal about biasness, communal bias in the police services that are prevalent today. He joins Communalism Combat, NewsClick and Hillele TV today for an exclusive interview on judgment which acquitted 16 accused of the Hashimpura massacre case. Hello sir. You have said after the judgment that this was supposed to happen, that the court will acquit all the 16 accused. How did Criminal Investigation Department of Uttar Pradesh weaken the evidences against all those 16 accused of PAC?
Right from the beginning, I was observing the investigation done by the CID, and I always had this impression that CID is, from the very beginning, CID is trying to protect the accused. First, I always used to tell CID officers that I will not believe that a group of 19 people, of whom the senior most officer was of the rank of a sub-inspector, can take such a big decision. They can take 40-45 people from their place of duty, take them to 40-60 kilometers away and kill them. This was a huge decision, and I don't think a sub-inspector was capable of taking this decision. So, my hunch was that some senior officers must have been involved in it. CID never bothered to identify those officers, to pinpoint them, to find out their roles. Then there were certain other agencies which were deployed during communal violence in Hashimpura in Meerut, and their role was never examined. Even you see from the very beginning, the basics of the criminal investigations, they were ignored. For example, the weapons were not properly seized, weapons were released and given to the organization itself. The forensic evidences were not collected, and as the court has observed that there is no basis to find out on which how these 19 people were identified out of say 40-50 people, how you pinpoint, how you highlight role of each and every individual, because in a criminal justice system which is followed by Indian courts, it is necessary that a guilt is proved beyond any reasonable shadow of doubt. That was not done. So, from the very beginning I was under the impression, and I was carrying this impression all through, that CID is not doing this investigation professionally. They are not trying to identify the real culprits behind the massacre, and they were least interested in getting punishments for even these 19 people who were ultimately charge sheeted.
So, why do you think, why did CID do it?
The possible reasons may be many. Political interference was one of the reasons, because after 87 until this the charge sheet was filed in the court, many governments came and went, and I have never found a government of any party which came to power in between these say 20 years, which was really interested in punishing these people. Nobody could understand that this is a big challenge before the Indian state, and Indian state should respond befittingly. Personally, I feel that not only the higher leadership of the police, but also the political leadership, they let us down.
So, were you called to give evidences in the court case, since you were the first person after May 22, 1987, and what did you depose?
I gave my evidence before CID, then in the charge sheet CID has mentioned my statement, and I was examined by the court also, and I narrated the whole thing before them, because I was one of those few who visited the first scene of occurrence, and who could say from the very beginning, who could apprehend, who could comprehend, and who could understand what actually has happened.
So, currently you are writing also a book on this massacre. So, what are the evidence that you have unearthed in respect to the entire massacre that took place?
I have been working on this book for many years, and personally I feel that whatever evidence I have got was already available with the CID. Only thing was that their intention, their integrity, their will was missing. Otherwise, most of the evidences I have found from their own records, from their case diaries, from the material which was put before them. Only thing is they went by conventional methods. Since I was writing and I was not involved in the investigation, so I adopted many unconventional things also, and that's how I could lay hand on certain facts which CID miserably failed.
Can you describe what was the atmosphere of the country at that time, and specifically Uttar Pradesh, when this incident took place, this mass massacre took place?
1987 was a very bad year in the sense that for last 10-15 years a very strong movement, Ram Janambhoomi Babri Masjid, was going on. As a student of communalism, I could identify even those places which were not affected by communal violence during partition days. They were affected during this movement. The whole atmosphere was surcharged, especially the Hindu middle class has communalization has taken place very badly among them. Muslim youths were also highly motivated. So those were such days where all institutions of the society were affected, be it journalism, media, be it police, be it civil administration, be it political leadership. So 87 was really a bad year.
Since time you have been talking about communalization of the Indian police force when you first gave interview to Communism Combat in 1995 also. So what was that communalization in the Indian police force that was taking place, and what do you think is the situation today?
Personally, I feel that policemen, they come from the society. If society is communalized, if society is radicalized, naturally it will affect the people who are coming from the society, and police is you see the age of the recruitment of an average police constable. At the age of 18 or 20, he is recruited in the police force. By that time his ideas are fixed. He gets ideas from the society, he joins police with those ideas, and unfortunately our training methodology, our training interventions are not such which de-radicalize that man or woman who is joining the police. So in Indian, I am talking in context of India, here you find that over last few decades, the majority community has been radicalized, and that is very unfortunate, because communalism is bad, whether it is majority communalism or minority communalism. But majority communalism is more serious in the sense that majority communalism can capture the state power, they can convert the state into a fascist state. So we have to be careful about that. Unfortunately, in police, neither at the time of recruitment, nor during training, nor during a long career of say 40-42 years which is spent in the force, there is no serious intervention which can de-radicalize people, which can correct their say beliefs, their ideas, their fixations about the other, the members of the other community, that preconceived notions. There is no inbuilt mechanism in police which can rectify these things.
Hashimpura massacre was one among the biggest case of custodial killings that has taken place in India. Has it been portrayed like that? Has it been treated like that? And what are the possible ways that can be carried out in future so that the guilty or the accused can be brought to books?
Unfortunately, it has not been treated in that way. Personally, I feel that I have never seen any police training institutions, whether it is National Police Academy at Hyderabad or state police academies, where Hashimpura is taught and studied and discussed as a say test case, where it is termed as the biggest custodial killing after independence. I have never heard of 42 people being captured or being arrested by police and then killing them. There had been instances where people have been killed minorities have suffered in presence of police, but this was an unique in the sense that police arrested them and police killed them. So, unfortunately, we have not taken it that seriously. No stakeholder of Indian state has taken this case as seriously as it deserves.
Do you think this representative recruitment process that we have been talking about would be a way to end this bias in the police forces?
To some extent, yes. To some extent, I think it will help. If we have more representation of minorities in police, why to talk of minorities of different communities of this? India is a very diverse society, and this diversity should be reflected in police. And whether it is lingual diversity or it is religious diversity, caste diversity, and that will help. That will help not only the members of the force to mend their ways, to remove their biases, improve their say notions, but it will also help in their say reaction to various situations in the society.
Do you think what are the ways that have been taken in this process, or what are the possible ways that should be taken in order to provide this representational recruitment process in the police forces?
What are the ways? I don't think any serious effort has been done. Efforts have been done by various governments at different times, but no institutionalized and serious effort has been done through which more representation of the minorities could be ensured in the police. What should be done? Certainly, reservation may not be a problem, may not be a solution, but some positive, some affirmative action is required, where more youth from the minority communities, they are encouraged to, they are helped in preparing for police entrance examinations, and they are encouraged to join police.
Do you think that the person who have been killed, have they been provided the compensation by government, and what representation do they have in the entire court case, or has the government properly paid attention towards their representation in the court cases?
I am very sorry to say that compensation was not only adequate, but it was very communal also, because the compensation was distributed on Sharia law. It was ridiculous. It was not a ancestral property which you are distributing as per the Sharia law. It was the state which was giving money, and money should have gone to the real victims. And what happened, because some radical Muslim organizations have taken over this movement at one particular time, they ensured that Sharia law is implemented during distribution of the compensation. And a very pathetic case I came across, where a lady was pregnant when her husband was taken away and was killed. She is the mother of 3 or 4 daughters, and as per Sharia law she could get pittance. Most of the share went to her brother-in-law, who always harasses that family, and who used to harass even when the husband was alive. The share went to other relations, other relatives, while the whole amount should have gone to the widow. So, compensation was inadequate, compensation was not sufficient, number one thing, and unfortunately it was not distributed as per the norms of a democratic secular society. So, government should look into it, more compensation should be given, and democratic and secular laws should be followed.
Can you describe your experiences of May 22, 1987 when you first visited the site, and how has it affected you as a human being? And
it was very horrible, and one can say that one will never forget those sites, because at about 10:30, 10:40 I was first informed that something has happened in under police station Link Road. Initially I could not believe, because even the person, the sub-inspector who brought this news to me, he was not sure what has happened. If PSC has killed, why PSC has killed, who are the people who have been killed, where they had come from, it was all mystery. And when I reached the spot, it was simply you cannot explain. It is said that language is a very poor substitute of thought. So, it was just like that. I will never forget that sight. Many bodies were lying, some were dead, some were half dead, some were in the half merged in the water, some were flowing, some bodies were flowing in the canal, some were on the dry bank, and under darkness it was very difficult to identify, to when you are putting a step ahead, you are always scared that you will put on somebody's head or somebody's limb. So it was a very horrible sight, and fortunately we could recover one person who was alive, Babuddin, and who narrated the whole thing, who in fact he was the first narrator who told us what actually happened.
Thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable time, and we will be coming to you back on such issues like as the case follows and as judiciary takes its course.